Welcome to Thought Cops, the only podcast where every week we police the mean streets of the internet because, hey, somebody's got to do it. And then we let you be the judge, the jury, and the executioner in the court of public opinion. Coming to you live from Neo Chicago, I am Officer Kevin.
I'm Officer Grant.
Grant, you look like you're right out of the movie Top Gun.
I am. My name's Tom Cruise. I'm 5'10". I'm in Top Gun.
5'10"? He's got to be shorter than that.
No, he's 5'10". Every man shorter than 5'10" is 5'10".
Okay.
It's true.
I heard a little bit of on-set trivia where they have him like stand on an apple crate. You know,
I don't know. Fellas got to lift each other up, you know? If you're under 5'10", you're 5'10". Doesn't matter.
That's true.
We're all 5'10".
Speaking of 5'10",
if Karl Marx had a saw, he'd cut everyone down to 5'10". That's what I've learned. That's what Dinesh D'Souza taught me on his YouTube channel.
Would you give up? Now we're talking about height communism. Would you give up some of your height to help other people out?
Yeah, why not?
You wouldn't mind?
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay.
Take it. I don't... What, you're just an old lady's gonna ask you to reach the top shelf at a grocery store. And that's it. That's the only privilege.
Sorry, I donated.
You know what height privilege is someone looks at you and goes, you're tall.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the only benefit.
Which apparently that's a meme.
Yeah.
According to somebody in the fucking... So one of our listeners met you over the week and was like, wow, Grant is tall. I thought that was just a meme.
Yeah.
And
picture of Boromir.
Where he's
does not simply mention Grant is tall.
Let's introduce our guest, though.
Meme.
Enough beginners banter. Let's get on with the show, shall we?
Yeah.
We got with us a brand new guest to this fine program tonight, everybody. That's right. I am talking about Jonathan Shannon. How are you, Jonathan?
I'm doing dandy, and I just found out I'm 5'10". So
yeah.
It's pretty fucking awesome,
how does that feel?
Feels great. I thought I was diminutive before, but this is great. This is great. This is a good revelation.
Grant is, so courteously offering, what height he's got to other people.
I'm 5'10" now, too. We're all just 5'10".
And that's the meme. Oh, somebody's taller than 5'10"? Haha, that's funny.
I'm 5'11", and then I do troll face. Yeah. This isn't funny anymore.
No,
let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Jonathan, how are you?
I'm doing dandy. This is wonderful.
So, Jonathan, you are a stand-up comedian here in Chicago. You host The Pressure open mic with several friends of the show, actually.
Hell yeah, dude.
Well, I guess some of them have moved away, but Brandon Kirkman, most notably, you host the show with him. I saw him recently. He wanted me to ask you a question. He wanted me to ask you about Boobzilla.
Okay, so I once in Arkansas did a show. It was really crappy. Like, no one came to the show. It was just comedians.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at a Hawaiian-themed restaurant called Hawaiian Brian's in Arkansas.
Hawaiian Brian's.
Yeah. So did the show. No one was there, just comedians. We didn't get paid except in booze. So we were all wasted. The owner comes up. It's like two comics left. She goes, oh, we have a new headliner. She's like, can you put on Boobzilla? And I was like, oh, yes, please. I definitely want to put on this person that I have no idea who it is.
Absolutely.
So it's a lady who...
What could go wrong?
She had an issue with a pituitary gland, and her boobs just never stopped growing.
I've heard of that disability.
Yeah, so she had 50 pounds in boobs. Literally like half my weight in boobs. So she had a show called The Oh No Variety Show because her jokes were so edgy. She wanted you to say, oh no, between them.
What? Say a joke, funny boob lady.
It was literally like the daddiest boomer humor ever. So in between these jokes, no one laughed except for me waiting about 5 seconds and then going, oh no.
Oh no. You can't say that.
Then the comedians laughed.
That is crazy, man. Fucking 50-pound tits. That is incredible. So that's a disease.
Yeah.
So does it only affect, not to like hyper focus on this detail, but does it only affect the boobs, or did she just like get lucky that it wasn't her like arm or something?
I did not do the research into this. I should have.
Let's do the research right now.
Let's
www.boobmd.
She's probably on Twitter, Boobzilla, at Boobzilla.
This is the best I can come up with is boobmd. I've been feeling just not very funny lately.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's just like not there. I'll open up TikTok and I'll be like, let me record a video, and I'm just like, this isn't funny.
Is it possible the dude from Chicago has just seen about all there is that Chicago has to offer?
I'm still gonna make TikToks and shit, but like the Chicago stuff, like I do think that the Chicago Party Aunt show is really just like, man, I don't want to do that.
You think she ruined that for you, that gimmick?
I don't know. I noticed that there's a couple other people that do similar sort of gimmicks where everything's just like Chicago this, Chicago that.
Sure.
And it's like, this is kind of lame after a while. Like, you know.
Is it going to be the new New York? Like, it's going to be in TV shows. Everything's going to talk about Chicago bullcrap.
I think so.
I
mean, that's all. And remember in the 80s, and we've talked about this before, where a lot of like sitcoms and movies took place in Chicago. You know, a lot of the greats, Home Alone, anything by John Hughes.
But it was like, it was just there. You know what I mean? It was there. The culture was sort of in there, but they weren't like, it's called Sears, not Willis. Like, that wasn't the punchline to every joke. It's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, you can really only go so far with this type of humor after some time, you know?
Sure.
And it's like, what else do you poke fun at? You know?
I can't think of anything.
I don't know. I'm looking to Dave Chappelle for inspiration.
No.
I'm like, what's going on here? I'm Googling the word turf. I'm like, what's this all about?
Jonathan,
where do we go from here? All right,
you got married recently. Congratulations!
I did get married. I'm wearing a baller ass Lisboa hat.
I don't know what that is.
It's Lisbon in Portuguese.
Okay,
that's where I went for my honeymoon. It was baller, dude.
Nice. That is a really nice hat. And folks, if you want to see this hat for yourselves, check us out on YouTube. You can watch the episode full video. That's right, folks. Go to youtube.com and type Thought Cops into that search bar. Hit the enter button as hard as you fucking can. And subscribe.
Yeah, because I'm over here, like, anytime I'm on vacation, I'm like, last thing I want is a fucking big shirt that says Florida. I visited Florida once, but that's
all I got with this crappy shirt. That
all I got was the I heart New York, but that's a nice hat.
Yeah, I saw this and I was like, this has some mild drippage. I think I will get this.
Yeah, incredible drippage.
Yes.
You're soaking wet, my man.
Oh my.
No.
What else?
So Boobzilla. Hats. What are some other things?
What else do I have written down here about somebody I know in person?
Who inspires you? Let's do those.
No, none of that fucking. This isn't Mark Maron. We don't have to do that.
Who are your guys?
No.
Who are my guys?
Yeah, who are your guys? What?
Jonathan, you don't have to answer that.
Top 10 comedians that inspire you.
Oh, Dave Chappelle.
That's about it, really. Anyway, let's move on to a very famous, very favorite segment of the show called 2 Minutes of Hate, where we like to blanket punish all that annoying random crap that we see on our cell phones all the time. So without further ado, folks, it's October. I dropped my gun.
Again? Is the safety on?
Yeah, of course. I'm responsible. It's October. It's spooky season. You know, you're at home. You're weather's starting to get a little bit cooler outside. You're like, you know what? I'm going to stay in tonight. I'm going to watch a movie. Maybe I'll watch a scary movie because, of course, Halloween is right around the corner. And you're putting on a movie in your apartment and
the lights go out.
And somebody's standing there with a knife. No.
And his dick in his hand.
Yeah. Whoa, how embarrassing.
How did that get there?
But you're watching a movie, and then the characters are talking, and you can't hear a fucking word they're saying. And you turn the volume up. Man. You turn the volume up, and then the fucking music starts playing, and that's loud as fuck. The sound effects are loud as fuck. And then you're like, well, I don't want to annoy my neighbors, so I turn it down again. Then I can't fucking hear what they're saying.
See, this is so validating because I thought I was the only person that experienced this.
Oh no.
Movies have been gaslighting me for years then.
This is a safe space. You can
Okay,
we can
good,
talk
good.
shit on the movie industry all we want.
I'm just glad you're
Go
so
ahead,
brave.
do a trauma dump for us over here.
Because no, I looked into this extensively recently because I moved into a new place somewhat recently, and I'm trying to be a good neighbor, folks. I'm trying to be courteous of the noise in my apartment. And I often am like, well, is my TV too loud? And I've actually asked my neighbors if they could hear my TV, and they said no. So now I don't worry about it anymore. But for a while, I was like, I don't know, or I don't know how thin the walls are. I want to, keep that in mind. And then it's this fucking thing where, I can't hear. And I'm like, I'm not going to, yes, I could turn subtitles on, but like, if I don't have to, if I don't need to, I don't want to.
They're distracting.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not a foreign movie, I'm like, whatever. But so then I'm like Googling it, and I'm like, I'm going on the rabbit hole, and I'm like looking up like my TV model, how to adjust the settings. Like, I'm like, because I thought it was like an issue with my TV. Mm-hmm. And then I looked it up, and I also had a sound bar, and I'm like, I'm going to hook that up. It's probably the way that movies were meant to be watched, is with a better sound system than these like little tinny, shitty speakers that come with the TVs. Soundbar has the same problem. The same audio mixing is like, and I guess I just don't notice it because when you're in a theater, you're not really, you don't care.
Right,
because
it can blast it,
It's
whatever.
more immersive too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pour that shit on me, And
not submersive.
well, I often get them confused.
4D movies.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude. Sorry, I just thought about our friend Josh just telling me about this experience he had with one of those like 4D. What the hell are those things called again?
Like one of those Honey, I Shrunk the Audience type things.
Not
where
like
they,
that exactly. It's that thing that they
spray
have.
a goo at you.
No. It's like, well, not too far off from that, but it's one of those things like in movie theaters. I forget what the fuck it's called. This is probably driving people crazy at home, but that thing they have at certain movie theaters where you sit in this box and they shake you around and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's supposed to be immersive. They sent scents, like smells.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, and they shoot. I watched Aquaman this way.
Well, what is it called?
I think it's called 4D. I think it's literally called 4D.
I think it's called Smell-O-Vision, fellas.
Remember that Nickelodeon where that like I'm going on so many fucking rabbit holes. What are we talking about again?
Man?
No, but I scratch and sniff. Mr. Krabs is putting the, you can pull up the card and smell it. You can smell what the shit smells like. How ironic. So then anyway, for SpongeBob, Nickelodeon, 4D, back to what I was talking about. Yes, the sound mixing in movies, at least for home viewing. And I'm Googling it, and I'm looking to see, like, there's, if you go into the, this setting in your TV, you can change.
It's going to probably be like normalization or compression. And
I looked into it more, and like, I changed all that stuff in my TV, and it made no fucking difference. And like, the people in these forums are like, yeah, that's just the way they make movies.
That's
so dumb.
That was what it came down to at the end, because it's like, I know it's like I'm trying to relate this to like the internet, obviously, and then like because eventually, it did go to me like going into like Reddit and fucking audiophile forums and stuff like that, and just getting down to like that's what it comes down to in the end.
Is just reality just fucking sucks now.
All these people like running from reality by like, well, if I change this or if I do that or if I buy this or if I sell that. And at the end of the day, it's like just some guy comes in and he's like, yep, that's just how they make movies. That's how they mix them. Nothing you can do.
Man, I do feel like technology is just making us shittier.
And then the guy also, really quick, he has the audacity to say, maybe you should live in an apartment with thicker walls.
What would that do?
Because then you wouldn't have to worry about bothering your neighbors.
All right.
Just buy $50,000 worth of fucking foam padding. And put a straitjacket on and enjoy Psycho.
It's that easy, folks. But Sarah, what were you saying?
No, I would like. I feel like we've sort of touched on this, maybe even recently in the show. Is just like how technology just it's like as it gets better. It's like all our envisionment of like what we can do with this technology is just like we just do worse. Like I don't get it. I don't get why like when we recorded to like vinyl, why things sounded better, and now everything's like garbled shit, and it's like you can have a billion songs on your fucking phone, they all don't sound as good. And it's just like, this is indicative of everything. It's just like, to a certain degree, it's like, I think limitations and like, you look into certain movies with like practical effects and stuff like that, and how that's touted as being like this one thing that not a lot of people do, and it's difficult to do because it's hard and expensive and it takes a lot of work and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, why do that when you can just like drag and drop a fucking thing in? It's like, why make a movie sound good when you can drop a plugin in?
And like, to be fair, this is not a new thing. Because like Jonathan said, I have noticed this for a long time, and it was like, I'm like, is it just me?
Well, it's
kind of thing, but it's like sometimes it's like, it seems like, I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just more sensitive to others' needs.
It's sort of like the loudness war in music, where like they kept compressing and compressing and compressing the files, and people are like, why does everything sound bad? And like, I think the most famous example is like one of Metallica's albums. Like, you look at
Anger, dude.
You look at the fucking like wavelength, or the
waveform,
the waveform. And they're just like scrunched all the way in, and it's like compared to, you know, the Beatles, where you see like the fucking dips and curves and shit, and it's like, this is what music's supposed to sound like. You're listening to a literal brick, you know? Yeah. It sounds like the same sort of like a similar issue.
And with the thing with this like movie mixing though, it's specific to movies though, because I will watch a TV show on my same setup. I'll watch a YouTube video on my same setup. Not a problem. Everything is audible at the same level, and I know that it's like, it's some cinematic, you know, immersiveness or whatever, that is just, I guess it's just some kind of standard. And like, in some respect, I do understand, because it's like these things do play in movie theaters to begin with, and they're best viewed in movie theaters. They gotta
mix it different though.
Yeah, but for home viewing, because it's like, I remember like the first time we got a DVD player when I was a kid, and we had like these like, you know, not surround sound speakers, but these like external, like old as fuck, like one of those like, you know, 4 foot tall speakers. And then I remember like how loud the DVD menu of Shrek was. It was so loud. And I'm like, why is like nothing else, like even the movie wasn't this loud? It's like, why the fuck is the DVD menu so loud? And then of course, like some of the music when that would come on too.
Right.
Just like blaring.
That's probably a good thing though, because that's a good primer for like, hey, this is how loud the movie's going to be. Set your volume and then just press the play button.
Yeah.
And then it's just going to be like, that's the loudest it'll get. That's
and by
actually
the way,
a good idea.
By the way, keep your finger on the remote, because when Shrek speaks, you'll have to fucking turn it up to hear what he's saying.
Yeah, and this is something YouTubers can get right.
Right. Of course. Of all the people can get it right, it's these people at home fucking recording in their own, you know, apartments. How pathetic.
Right. Well, it goes to show like the immediacy of use, when it's like, I want you to understand what I'm speaking, versus like, I have this grand idea for a cinematic experience, and it's like, but do you care about the fucking dialogue you put in the movie? Just make a silent movie if you want it to be all weird fucking sounds and shit.
I've actually got a good punishment.
Yeah.
There's a certain man for the job, folks, and he goes by one word: Zwick.
Hire Zwick to do all the movies?
Yeah, hire Zwick. Hollywood, if you're listening, and I know you are. Harvey Weinstein, know you're out there.
He's in prison.
They don't get podcast in prison. Come on.
I don't know. I don't know what they get or don't get in prison.
I don't know either. I'm assuming that maybe, I mean, he's probably in like the highest caliber of white collar prison.
He's in prison.
Right. Yeah, he gets a fucking masseuse and shit like that.
One of us has to get arrested for something that's like illegal but like still moral, obviously. One of us has to get arrested and then podcast from prison, because you hear a lot of people that are like, oh, I made my rap album in prison. Well, why come no podcast?
Well, they release that when they get out of prison, though, because I can't be calling in a Discord from prison, you know, like from Cook County Jail.
Yeah, you're on the phone, and then we just hook the phone up to Discord, and you just talk.
Yeah, I got my. You can see me in the fucking video.
That's
with
your street cred.
the orange jumpsuit and everything.
Sorry, I got imprisoned. I stole an NFT.
Yeah. 2 minutes of hate. My fucking prison guard. The guy's a jerk. Anyway, hire Zwick.
Speaking of not.
Jonathan. Is it John? I never know that. Is it Jonathan or John?
I go by Jonathan.
Okay. I feel like I've been calling you Jonathan this whole time, and I'm like...
John or Jon?
Jon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to fuck that up.
Yeah.
I can tell audibly when you say it the right or wrong way.
I feel like you actually...
Yeah.
There probably is a little bit of truth to that.
There might be.
Yeah,
I
you
lied,
can tell
but
when
there
somebody's
might...
like, John. Like they have to... Like that long O.
Yeah, if they have a speech impediment.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Fuck you. Anyway, speaking of fuck yous, Jonathan, what's your 2 minutes of hate?
Real trashy way to treat our guests.
Yeah. You called him a jerk.
Well, that was... No, that was just my natural segue. And then, oops, but to the wrong.
Yeah, speaking of assholes, you're next,
this
Grant.
fucking guy.
Speaking of pet,
Jonathan, let's let the man talk. Jonathan, what's your 2 minutes of hate? What's bugging you?
Okay, so my 2 minutes of hate. This is not like a very current trend. This is something that has just not stopped.
That is fine.
On Twitter. It started, I think, a few years ago, and it just happens like almost weekly. For some reason, Bill Maher's dumbass takes trend.
Man,
I don't know why.
Crazy.
I don't know why this happens. I don't know why people expect him to like have a smart take. It's not going to change. Mm-hmm. He's going to say something that's dumb, and he's going to make both Republicans and Democrats angry.
Right.
It's like the only unifying thing, I think.
It really is.
It's so terrible to see him trend, and I just have to watch, and people will be like, how did he say this? Where did he come up with this idea? And it's like, well, his dumbass mind. It's not going to be different.
And the thing about it, too, is I truly believe, like, for somebody like of his age and whatever, like, I don't think... Because you see a lot of people, they're trying to breed outrage by like, oh, this will get me attention if I trend on Twitter. I don't think he even gives a fuck about that.
I don't.
He's just being himself and just happens to piss off every part of the political spectrum.
But you know what the worst part is? That's his like MO. His whole thing is like, I'm a smug comedian. People like me because I'm smug. I don't know why he's the red letter media guy, but he's like, I'm smug.
Or our Twitch channel from
and
last
I'm
episode.
Smart. And yeah, exactly. I'm smart. And, you know, if you're not an atheist like I am, you're just stupid and less of a person. And Republicans are stupid, but we can agree. And, you know, the left has gone too far left. It's just like you just box it all up and it's just like, cool.
Yeah, and he'll even say something that I'm like, oh wait, maybe this is an agreement, and then he'll go completely off the rails. He'll just be like, there's a lot of mental illness problems in America. Men are suffering, and then I go, but soy boys sure are gay. As a follow-up, it's like, where did you come up with this idea?
Man, you just you had us for a second there. You just had to shut the fuck up.
It feels like bad joke writing to me because he's still. At this point, I wish that he would drop the comedy from the show.
I wish he would drop dead.
I wish he would just drop. Yeah, it's just fucking just end.
Because it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, he is those fucking like bits that are like, oh, new rule, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, just drop that part. Just do a talk show. You know what I mean? Like, just do a talk show. The funny parts are not funny, and you're taking serious subject matter and then trying to like put a dumb joke about soy boys in something that like, and he is like, he has people on. I feel like his show is good sometimes because he has people on that sometimes don't get any limelight from anywhere else. Like the amount of times he's had like Cornel West on or like anybody like that, where it's like nobody else had put him on TV. Like it's cool that he booked this guest and has this sort of like diversity of opinion, but he's the worst part of his own show.
People overtalk on him because no one claps during his parts, really. It's always like the person that says something insightful, they'll get like a big clapter, and then he says something and it's just like
the audience is pretty terrible for that show.
I'm searching for Bill Maher on Twitter right now to see if we can find if there's anything he's trending for. Not at the moment.
Oh God, of course.
But like for real though, like nearly every week, it's what did Bill say this time?
Yeah. The only benefit that I can find of him. I've been thinking about this long and hard, and it's there's a lot of people that argue that white privilege doesn't exist. Like, people still believe that in 2021, and I don't know how you can prove Bill Maher's like fame and success without white privilege. I think it is impossible. I think we've developed a conundrum for Republicans. Like, I don't know how I dare someone to explain.
I attribute most of his success, honestly, towards the primitive foundry of cancel culture. If he wouldn't have said that the people that flew planes into 9/11 were brave, I don't know if we'd still be talking about him. You know,
he figured it out. He figured it out sooner than anybody else.
Yeah,
he knew outrage would get him attention, and he just wrote it.
I remember, like, you know, I think I don't know to what extent y'all are. I was like a pretty big Christopher Hitchens fan, like in late high school, early college. You know, when everyone goes through their atheisty phase, whatever the fuck. Yeah, God isn't real. Blah,
you
blah.
believe in God?
Internet atheism. Deal with it.
Yeah, fucking one of these. You see how the sunglasses just fell onto my face?
He's actually got several fedoras hanging up in his room.
And like, Christopher Hitchens, I think, was a smart guy. Had like a lot of like, I feel like towards the end of his life, a lot of sort of fatal flaws that may have sort of muddled his overall career. But like when Bill Maher called Milo Yiannopoulos a young Christopher Hitchens, it's just like, man, that's a slap in the face of a guy that was on your show many times. Like, it's like insulting. It's like Christopher Hitchens was like a pretty esteemed journalist that did some pretty serious good work, and then, you know, later on in his life was all just gung-ho for atheism or whatever. And I guess that, you know, there were aspects of that led us maybe, you know, more into doing an Iraq war and whatever. But aside from that, it's just like, yeah, Milo Yiannopoulos is Christopher Hitchens.
I guess he's technically literate. I think that's what
he's British.
Well, there you go.
British sounding. And he makes people angry.
Oh,
You make people angry. You're a certain type of person.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can be a smart person or a dumb person. Doesn't matter. You made people angry.
You can draw comparisons however you want. So if you could punish Bill Maher for ending up in our collective consciousness so often, how would you do it?
I want to make him watch his own stand-up and have to experience that. Have to experience his own stand-up, but he might like that. So
does he still do stand-up?
I don't know.
Because I don't think I've ever actually seen it now that you mention it.
I've watched like a stand-up or two, and they're pretty old at this point.
Yeah, I watched him from the 90s stuff, and it's the same stuff he does now. Like, he hasn't evolved in any sense.
Oh, my God.
But I guess I would make him do stand-up again then.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's still, I think, the worst punishment anyone could have done to them.
Dude, I got to share this anecdote. And I may have told this on the show before, but a few years back, I was in LA, and a friend of mine, at the time he was into this, he dragged me along to I can't think of the guy's name all of a sudden. We talked shit on him last week, the Reddit, Dave Rubin.
Right. Yeah.
Dave Rubin event. What the hell you want to call it? But
quote comedy show.
Well, it was
quote,
like
quote, quote,
it was like
quote,
it was like
show.
a talk with like whatever dark web, whatever. But he opened with a stand-up act because, you know, of course, he's also a stand-up comedian, and he was like doing bits from the 90s and like not updated at all, like season 1 Sopranos references, like referencing like,
hey buddy, the Sopranos is leftist right now, you get your grubby conservative fingers out of there.
You know what's kind of funny though, he was actually ahead of the curve because this is like 3 or 4 years ago before everybody was like posting about the Sopranos all of a sudden. He was like referencing it. At the time it felt very antiquated, but it was like the way he
Right.
was talking
Yeah,
about
sure.
it was like referencing it. Oh yeah, the episode on Sunday, you know, like as if it was still airing on TV.
Accidentally prescient. Like,
Yeah.
He just like flipped through his notes and he's like, yeah, this is good.
Like he was talking about like the Phantom Menace and stuff like that. I'm not even kidding.
Jesus
Like
Christ,
it was like
man.
so specific to like it wasn't even
Because
like
he hasn't done comedy since like, because he was on like the Young Turks, and
Right.
he was on the Young Turks when he was an old Turk, and so that was like post his comedy career. His comedy career, was 20 years ago.
And dude, I'm not kidding. It was one of the worst fucking stand-up shows I have ever seen. And I'm including like every open mic I've ever been to. It was horrible, dude. And I was like, again, it was like one of those things where I'm like, oh, I forgot or didn't know he did comedy. Well, you know, and I'm sitting there like, you know, what you see how this goes. And it was, God, it was bad. And like a guy in the audience is like, you know, yelling out like, you know, do an attack helicopter joke, you know, he identifies as attack helicopter. And of course that's too modern for Dave Rubin's stand-up set, so he pretty much just ignored the guy and continued to talk about fucking Y2K scary. What are they going to do about the computers?
I think what bugs me most about the Star Wars reference is that they were making the newest trilogy of Star Wars by that time.
And like that was what it was. Well, actually, no, you're right. Yeah, the new ones were coming out, but he was like doing this like awful Yoda impression too, like the voice. You know, it's the speech patterns, but the voice was like barely changed from Dave's like regular speaking voice. It was just like, dude, just stop.
I wonder how that
like
compares.
nobody was fucking laughing even. It was like, we're here for you, man, and nobody's even eating this up.
I wonder how that compares to Steven Crowder's stand-up.
Oh, I forgot.
Oh,
Oh,
man,
my God.
I bet that's real
Now this
bad,
I
dude.
gotta see. Anyway, Grant.
My 2 minutes of hate this week, I feel like sort of revolves around all these topics that we're already talking about.
That's
Because
convenient.
I feel and this is very typical of me, just to like guest does their 2 minutes of hate, and I'm like, let me piggyback off of that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's a level to that where it's like, obviously this is a topical, insightful show that revolves around controversies, and it's easy to like get sucked into all of this shit and like feel like you're doing something and trying to make some sort of difference in some sort of fucking way. And I have this idea in my head that it's like all this culture war shit that we fucking live in, that's just seeped into everything. It's just like, that's just got to go away. People like me should be talking about the culture war shit, not the fucking pundits, not the people on Fox News, not the stupid war on
Yeah, they're not
Christmas
involved.
shit.
You're in the trenches.
I'm in the trenches. I'm living it, because people are saying, oh, you can't say Merry Christmas at Starbucks. And it's like, I used to work at Starbucks. Nobody said that. We sell Christmas blend coffee. And it's shit that like wants me to, like, I want to pull my hair out when I think about all the shit that we talk about on this show. And I feel like you get
How pleasant.
you get sucked into it, and it's like you get this point of view where it's like, I want to do more with this, but you look at the other end of the spectrum, you look at the Dave Rubins, you look at the Steven Crowders, you look at the Bill Maher's of the world, and you're just like, I don't want to be that, man. And it's hard, because it's like you want all of this to mean something. You want it to be purposeful. You want it to be topical. You want to do what everyone's doing. But I just look at the way that everyone's doing it, and it's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where I fit in this shit, you know?
Yeah.
And it's frustrating. I think.
Tell you what
it's
you
like
can do. No, I was going to say, you go to a protest and make an ass of yourself. And
I mean, that's sort of part of all of it.
And
where
be a
it's like,
martyr.
Wear a diaper for no reason.
Hey,
there you go. Put your own unique spin on it.
Someone's wearing a diaper, you know, but it is one of those things where it's like, God, there's a level of engagement and involvement that I want to be revolving all this shit, because I do feel like it's just like, I look at certain people that talk about the same stuff that we talk about every week, and they do it in such like a bad faith, stupid fucking way that's just to like drive home a fucking narrative. And it's just like, I don't know. Sometimes I listen back to the show and I'm just like, I don't want to be fucking soapboxy about shit. Like, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be just like a dumb fucking the lefty version of whatever the fuck is whatever the fuck. It's just like but at the same time, I don't want like the Steven Crowders of the world running around like putting on lipstick going, haha, I'm a trans person. And it's just like, that's who's controlling the narrative. He's got like 8 million viewers on fucking YouTube. And he just puts on lipstick and says, haha, people don't deserve rights. And I mean, he's like, I don't fucking know, man.
Those aren't the only content creators
those
out there.
Those are not the only
if you focus on that,
creators.
You'll drive yourself crazy.
I do realize that, but it's that level of introspection and just being like, man, I would like for that not to exist. And I would like to do something about that. But doing something about that, like, means that you're fucking flailing around in the same muck that everybody else is flailing around in. And it's just like, man, I don't know.
And these same people constantly complain about being canceled with all their fucking money, all their followers.
I wrote like a whole ass script on cancel culture for like a re-educationing video, and it's just like, I don't know if it's funny. I don't know if it's good. It's like,
I know we were talking about like how do we make it funny? How do we spin this certain way? And it's like, at the end of the day, like I know you've often pitched this show as like mystery science theater for the internet,
right? And
I don't think that necessarily has to be so like controversial stuff. It could be just like the dumb shit,
right?
Like, when I see another Bagel Boss pop up, I'm like, here we go, baby. I am ready for Thursday. And I'm just, that's the kind of stuff, we got all kinds of fun stuff planned for the show. Everybody stick around. You're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it.
I think it's one of those things where it's obviously a mixed bag. And there are times where it's like, man, I feel like in my head, I need to talk about this one thing or whatever. But it's like, the demagoguery and shit like that. Like, I don't know, it's all stupid, but at the same time, like, the cancel culture shit, like, really fucking gets to me that we're still talking about cancel culture, and we're doing it in such a stupid way. Like, Dave Chappelle the other day, for God's fucking sake, said something along the lines of, like, if this is what being canceled is, I love it. And it's like, what was canceled of yours? I get that people are trying to get his special taken down, but, like, you're a millionaire, you're a celebrity, you get to do the thing that you love for the way that you make money. You didn't get like
so he's
canceled.
Right. Yeah, he does love it.
Yeah,
it does sound pretty great. Actually,
cancel me, man.
Yeah,
and it's like this boiling frustration of like looking at all this shit and being like, I want to tear my own head off, but then also going like, man, if you get too vested in this, you just lose sight of it because then you become a fucking idiot talking head. And it's like, no one fucking wants that. Everyone wants to just laugh at the guy. But it's like, how do you balance that? And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You wake up as a talking head one day. You're like, is this my life? Is this my beautiful wife?
Right.
What were you going to say, Jonathan?
Oh, I was gonna say his getting canceled lost other people their jobs. Like that's him getting canceled. People were trying to protest it, and they lost their jobs because of that.
Yeah,
I'm loving every second, baby.
It's one of those things where it's like I don't want to get too into the details of all that because it's just like depressing at this point to like
really fucking sad.
Even talk about. But like that was just one of the examples.
Let's bring the energy up a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some fun. Grant, make this funny.
I also do feel like sometimes like the idea of like having to. It reminds me of the one time when Jon Stewart was on Crossfire with Tucker Carlson, and he was like, you guys are ruining America. And Tucker Carlson was like, I thought you were a comedian. Why don't you tell a joke? And he's like, yeah, I don't want to do your dance monkey dance routine. Like, you're honestly bad. And then they just took it off the air like the following week. It's like, I do feel that pressure too sometimes where it's like, man, I don't want to, this isn't funny.
Tell me a joke, funny man.
But there's exactly to bring it all around. It's just like, that constant ongoing frustration of just like, what's the line? Where's the line? Where do I fit into it? And like, how do I dance around it? And like, just all those things, because it's like, I am trying to work on this show and work on some other stuff. And it's just like, where do I fit into all this shit? Because it's like, I don't know. There's so many different fucking paths to go down.
You got to work on yourself, man. Fuck the show. Fuck the show will find a way.
I'm not necessarily talking about the show itself, but just like as a person that wants to create things, as a creator, as we all are.
A creative type.
Exactly.
Remember that?
An influencer.
Remember that fucking, it was like one of the first episodes we did with that creative types versus normal people. Yeah, we're a little different here. We dress like Johnny Depp. And we see the world through a little bit of a different lens.
Simpler times.
Right.
I feel like there were a lot more stories like that back then. And now it's like pending civil war every week. And it's like, God damn it, man.
You mentioned the culture war. And I just had this like horrific thought of like 50 years from now, are textbooks just going to retcon this and be like, that was World War III. The cancel culture war, the everything going on. That was World War III. We had World War I, World War II, World War III was fought with the war of ideas.
The meme war.
Yeah.
All those idiot scientists trying to give us fake information.
They're the biggest part of it.
I want to say no, but I know that like all the textbooks are made in Texas and they're like trying to pass laws that's like, don't tell your kids about Martin Luther King Jr. And it's like, I don't know, whatever. I don't want to guess the future anymore.
Horrific moment for a parent when their child is like, is Martin Luther King real? And you have to explain, like, I'm doing a Santa Claus thing here. I don't know if that's clear or not.
No,
I was like, I was saying it. I'm like, I don't know if this is coming across as offensive.
No. The listeners, I think, are smart.
That's not the issue. It says if I'm being clear enough. But Grant, go off with your punishment.
I don't know. I don't know what's the punishment. What's worse punishment than living in my own head?
Yeah, that sounds awful, man.
Deep, dog.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
Anyway, if you haven't listened to Thought Cops before, every week we investigate the internet's outrage-inducing news stories and sentence each perpetrator to a cruel and unusual punishment. There's a number of things here.
Let's do this one.
This one? Oh,
yeah,
boy.
We were talking about this, Jonathan and I, on the way here.
Do you want to set this up?
Yes. So there was a video that went viral this week on Twitter. This is I think it might be like high school or middle school classroom with a white lady is teaching the class about Native American culture.
This, again, if you're not watching the YouTube version of this is fucking prime.
We got some visuals here, but yeah, let's watch this and take it all in.
Do people think that whatever?
Right face.
Hey, I don't know what the fuck that was.
She's doing a dance. She's wearing a construction paper feather headdress.
Shout out to the kid filming this, by the way.
Yeah.
He's like, this is going to be fucking cringe.
I think the kid filming it was Native American.
Yeah.
This is so bad.
It's so long. How much is left of this?
13 minutes.
I get to go home. And I get all of my feathers. There we go.
I also would be hiding my face.
The kids are like, don't even want to. I mean, they probably know they're going to be filming, and this is going to be a very viral video. So they're like, yeah, keep me out of this. But it's also like the secondhand embarrassment.
I mean, this is like.
I mean, what exactly? She's like running back and forth in front of the classroom. Like at this point, it's becoming concerning. If I were in this classroom, I would be like, should we call 911?
Oh, it's still going.
Yeah, it's super long. It's so long.
Now she's sitting on top of the desk, pretending to pray. I think.
Secret Indian chant. Please. And then I hear.
She got a couple laughs.
Obviously, this is ridiculous. Wow! Look.
You okay?
I just ran into the rock god.
Oh the rock god.
He spit out. Sorry. This is just too much. He stood out these beautiful rocks, which my children painted. I pulled them out of my pantry. No, wait, no, but the rock god did this.
I'm
Probably a case to be made for going back to
Thank
Zoom
you,
class
rock god,
again.
for these beautiful.
This is okay. Great, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, grind face.
Thank you for the extreme branding.
This is just like let me close out of this here. This is like this is a case against public schooling. Like, I feel more libertarian now more than ever. Like, I think we just get rid of them. I think there's no need for public. This is it. I don't remember this class in school, but apparently,
Yeah,
this is
I don't
what we
remember
used to
learning
do.
that lesson.
God, how racist was our education? And then we just don't even know.
I mean, like, I
I'm
think, like,
sure, but
if
like,
something like this happened, I would have a hard time forgetting it, you know? And honestly, I think that's
Cashew in the chat says this was for a math class.
Yeah, it's SOHCAHTOA. It's
What?
the trig. So sine, cosine, and tangents, what she's teaching them.
My God.
I thought you were being facetious when you said
No, I'm
She's
just
not-
dumb. I don't know if that's...
I didn't
like,
read about this. I
what
just
the
saw
fuck?
the video and was like aghast.
That makes this so much
Yeah,
worse.
she's repeating SOHCAHTOA to teach them sine, cosine, and tangent. And that's her medium.
I thought it was like a history class.
No, it is
what the
math.
fuck?
It's worse than you thought, I guess. Yes, it's
Yeah.
fucking math, dude.
Next, she's going to be excusing my dear Aunt Sally.
Yeah, so this is what bugs me most about this. SOHCAHTOA works on its own. You don't need another mnemonic device to remember it. Like, it works on its own. Like, you could just say
That
SOHCAHTOA.
is how a mnemonic device works.
Like, okay,
is
so-
you get it.
Mnemonic devices are meant, you know, just to be these like catchy things. They click in your head. You remember them because of their whatever.
Those kids are never going to forget
Exactly.
SOHCAHTOA.
Exactly. So like that's if anything, it's a genius move. She's playing like 5D chess. Like be super racist when you're teaching your kids math, and they will not forget it. I can guarantee those kids, you know, this video is probably going viral, or rather it is going viral. They're going to be like, yeah, SOHCAHTOA, I remember that. I will never forget that. That's going to be like their last word on their deathbed is SOHCAHTOA.
They're going to all turn into the guy from A Beautiful Mind. They're going to just like have an intuitive understanding of math because they'll never forget.
It's literally just writing SOHCAHTOA everywhere, though. Trying to ham-fist it into every math.
God, that is crazy, dude. I did not know that aspect. Holy shit.
Yeah, I legit thought that she was doing like this is history class, and today we're going to learn about the Native Americans.
Now, folks, they lived here before we did, and they talked and acted a little bit like this. And yeah, like obviously that in itself is like not great. You know, maybe a better way to teach kids about it besides dancing around, like we're doing a fucking rain dance and all that kind of shit
Right,
in
doing
front of the
one
classroom
with your mouth.
But like, oh, bro, I don't know if you, whatever.
You're doing it as an example.
Right,
We all
yeah,
know that
yeah.
It's contextual. No one's gonna cancel you, and if they do, you'll be a millionaire celebrity.
Hey, I am
with a
willing
Netflix
to
deal.
give it a shot. No, but that is, oh man. Trying to think what other classes you could teach. The scientific method. Maybe next time she could do. I don't fucking know something.
I'm gonna have to rack my brain for that one.
She's just doing like she's got the rice hat and stuff, like doing a really racist Chinese impression, like just teaching kids about the periodic elemental table.
Just pronouncing everything wrong or something.
Yeah,
stupid.
and she's like doing like the fucking like, you know, I don't know what you want to call it. The fucking.
Are we
like,
Cum Town now?
Actually,
That's
this
good punishment.
is kind of going down a bad
that's
hill,
good
I think.
punishment. Just Nick Mullen teaches your class about whatever, and it's like, there you go, you know.
Nick Mullen teaches your class health class. You're fucking gay.
Yeah, then
You get fucked in the ass. You're gay. It's like, okay.
then that's the show, folks.
First, they have to teach you what cum is.
Right. First of all, but let's move on. What do you want to talk about next year, Grant?
Harambee.
Oh my god, dude.
He's back again, and about time too. And this time, he's in the mood. Harambee's back, folks. You may remember Harambee from an argument that Kevin got in with Kumail Nanjiani on Twitter about 4 years ago. And now look, he's in that Marvel Eternals movie. He's all jacked up, Kumail is.
Oh, I thought you meant Harambee was in it.
I was like, wait, this is a weird crossover that I was not prepared for.
Harambee's dead.
Yeah.
And so is Kumail in that movie. Kingo.
Is he? Oh, you ruined it for me. Let me find a better picture of this. But yeah, so do you remember the fearless girl that they put in front of the bull on Wall Street? The bull statue, the brass statues?
No.
Well, they did a brass Harambee statue. And the Wall Street bull has a bunch of bananas under it, and Harambee's looking at that bull going, I like bananas because I'm a monkey.
Well, that looks mighty tasty for me, a gorilla.
Look at this.
That's pretty funny. Why, though?
I just want health insurance.
Why?
Also, the weird thing is, Jesus Christ, this caption. I will read this caption, and maybe this will enlighten you a little. To some degree. Sapien Network, a social network for human welfare, put a statue of Harambee the gorilla in front of Wall Street's charging bull.
Kind of confused the
Organizers included 10,000 bananas, which will be donated to protest wealth disparity and how, quote, bananas Wall Street has become.
Yeah, so we spent a lot of money on this very expensive statue, and don't worry, we're donating food from the floor to poor people. There's a picture of the food on the floor. They're going to be eating that.
It's Donkey Kong's horde.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like, what is it, like King K. Rool breaking into Donkey Kong's...
his lair, his golden
secret,
banana lair. No one knows that this is about wealth disparity.
The fuck?
No one cares that this is about wealth disparity. Everyone was like, "Oh, Harambee."
That could be. So
why is Harambee?
Yeah,
on
why
Wall
him?
Street?
Like, it could be any gorilla, I guess.
Yeah. Instead, they get a gorilla that everyone wants to have a selfie with and make a joke about.
Like when I saw the photo and people were like, "They put up a Harambee statue in New York," I was like, "They're kidding, right?"
I was like, why not? I mean, maybe like what was it, the Cincinnati Zoo where that happened? What city was that? Where Harambee died?
Yeah.
Something like some bum fuck nowhere nobody gives a fuck about. That's where Harambee... I thought maybe they put up a statue in his honor. I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
I guess.
No, because it's in front of this bull, and the funny thing is, Harambee was killed because he was a danger to a child. They kicked the child out and put Harambee there. I guess in a way it's like poetic justice.
Yeah, I guess if you don't really think about it, sure.
Well, that kid's not going to be remembered, I guess.
Right. Well, here's a statue of Harambee.
The fearless girl.
The thing we'll talk
Take
about.
that, Wall Street?
It's a very mixed message. Like,
yeah.
Again, yeah, that's such a good point. Why Harambee? Why not just a gorilla?
Because it's probably some fucking Reddit idiot who made this. The same guys who buy NFTs and all this dumb shit. Like, this guy probably like still like thinks like dicks out for Harambee is funny. Like, he's like, wouldn't it be epic if we put a statue of Harambee on Wall Street and then maybe
This
Elon
dick
Musk will
was out.
retweet? Fucking idiots.
Oh my god, I'm just like Banksy.
God, these people. Wait, missing. You know what make this better? Bacon.
Epic.
Everything's better with bacon.
Oh man, and if they replace the bull statue with a narwhal.
Yep.
I'm not a professional quote maker, but I am feeling euphoric in this moment, let me tell you folks.
I think that's a good punishment. We should just double down on the Reddit. Just make this, it's made out of Reddit gold. And it's,
change Wall Street to, I don't know.
Wall Street Bets. R/Wall Street Bets.
R/Wall Street Bets.
Yeah.
Fuck this shit. What's the next story?
I don't know. What else?
What other useless fucking bull crap are we wasting our lives on?
So there's a story about TikTok giving people Tourette's syndrome, and there's a story about Facebook creating the Metaverse.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about that, because by the time this episode comes out, maybe we'll have
Our own Metaverse.
Well, the Facebook is getting a new name, and it's under this cinematic universe of social media websites.
See, I have no idea about this piece of news, by the way. This is totally new to me.
Yeah, so I guess, they're rebranding it. I don't fucking know why. They're probably because there's a lot of negative connotations with Facebook at this point. They're like,
but if you change the name, it's like we all know the name. We know your name.
Yeah, and Facebook owns Instagram and stuff like that. So it sounds like they're just going to change. They're going to have this parent company or whatever. It's going to be Facebook, a product of Globocam and Instagram. Whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. Facebook is now no longer going to be the umbrella company.
And I really do hope it is as comically evil sounding as whatever they can think of,
Right.
I don't know, whatever the example I said was earlier,
that was funny. Yeah. I don't remember it, but I'm sure if we play it back.
Rocko's Modern Life, the conglomerate with the tagline, exactly. We own you.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And that's very, very prescient media. Rocko's Modern Life was. People
are saying, is the name change meant to be a distraction from bigger problems? Because as we all remember, about a week or two ago, Facebook went down.
Yeah,
and everyone was like, "Hey, what's going on with this?
Where am I supposed to get my misinformation?"
They're also focusing on creating the Metaverse, a digital platform enhanced by augmented and virtual reality where people interact through digital avatars. So, you know what this fucking is? I was too busy. I am up my own ass with my own jokes. I hear the word Metaverse and I think of the book Snow Crash, which is one of my favorite books, and I suggest you all read Snow Crash. A lot of prophetic things happen. But you know what this fucking thing is? RICO. This shit. Do you guys remember this shit? I think that this is their metaverse.
Oh my God.
Is this their metaverse? Do you remember this fucking snafu?
It's just fucking Xbox Live avatars.
I don't know if this is it.
No, this was pretty recently, right? When they
this was when Puerto Rico got destroyed. Within the past 4 years or so.
Right.
And Mark Zuckerberg did this big PR thing where he made a fake Mark Zuckerberg. Look at this fucking guy. Look at this. This is comical.
He can't even pretend to be human when pretending to be human.
Seriously, what the fuck?
Look at him. And look at the devastation behind him. If you're listening at home and there's no visual aid,
just imagine hell.
Google Zuckerberg Puerto Rico, and you'll get exactly. Just pause the episode. Google Zuckerberg Puerto Rico. If you haven't heard this and you haven't seen it, look at this devastation that's behind them. They're doing this cartoony bullshit.
They're still doing that because, as of I think it was one of the stories we didn't have time to get to, an SNL Cut for Time sketch. They had. They were doing because Facebook also, or whatever they're going to call it in the future, owns
MetaBook,
Oculus Rift or whatever it is.
Yeah,
and Mark Zuckerberg was on this some fucking talk show or something demonstrating how it was oh, this is the future. People don't even have to be in the same room to interact with each other, and he was showing off this it was basically that 3DS game Miitomo, or just these Miis sitting in a room talking to each other. It was so fucking archaic looking, and it was from 2021. And it's
this is the metaverse.
It's wow, how profound these really low res 3D image, these 3D avatars. Oh, yeah, that kind of looks like you, Mark. where they're like in this room talking to each other, but they're not really even in the same room at all. But in the it's like it's a VR chat basically. Is kind of what I'm getting at. You know, the guy thinks he invented VR chat, and that I guess that's what this is all leading to. Like we already had this like years ago. People running around as like Hank Hill and Naruto clothing. It doesn't get any better.
We had racist Knuckles.
Oh
That was a meme for a while.
Ugandan dude, I saw like somebody fucking stuck up a Ugandan Knuckles sticker in my neighborhood recently, and I'm like, these are the same people who are probably think the Harambee Statue is like so fucking
same
funny.
Guy.
Yeah, the same guy actually.
They put Harambee in Wall Street. You know, in 1992.
Just fucking kill yourself.
In 1992, Neil Stephenson wrote the prophetic book Snow Crash. And in it, he describes the metaverse, which is sort of like a second life, sort of, you know, you plug like the Matrix, you know, this is pre the Matrix. This is, you know, still within sort of the cyberpunk genre of like mid to late 80s, early 90s. And his dream was that the main character, whose name is Hero Protagonist, he carries around, he's a pizza delivery driver / hacker, and he carries around a katana that he uses to deflect bullets. That's what he thought the metaverse would be. This shit sucks. We just get to destroy Puerto Rico and then send our dumbass fucking looking avatars there to be like,
hey guys, Mark
help
Zuckerberg
raise
here.
money.
Fucking
I am the richest person alive.
fucking fighting Polygon team looking ass.
I myself am worth the GDP of 1,000 countries. Please donate money to Puerto Rico. This is what the metaverse is?
Yeah, you donate money. I'll be here in my little cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My graphics are worse than VTubers.
Seriously.
I'll be here being a racist. What's Knuckles? He's not a hedgehog.
Echidna,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be here being a racist echidna. You go fix Puerto Rico. Donate half your wealth to Puerto Rico. It doesn't matter.
I got a good punishment though.
Yeah.
Jonathan, you brought up VTubers. I think that we send in Hatsune Miku into all these impoverished nations, and she would do a better fucking job than Mark Zuckerberg in creating this metaverse bullshit, you know? Like, Hatsune Miku has been on Dave Letterman. She is an icon. We got all these other, you know, VTubers out there who are, you know, far more impactful on culture. And I think that they would do a better job righting the wrongs of this world we live in. And there's a whole lot of them. So I say we send in the troops. You know, it's like when they sent like a Bob Hope to whatever to entertain the troops. You know?
Yeah.
Hatsune Miku, put her in there, put her in the trenches, and we're gonna fix this whole thing and cancel this metaverse bullshit. You know, metaverse, like, man.
How about you bring us the Digi world? Huh? How about that?
Yeah, why don't we have Digimon yet?
Yeah.
We got this other. We got to. Like, it's like people talk. Oh, technology's moving so fast. We got these incredible phones in our pockets. Where's my fucking Digimon? Where's my fucking sword that deflects bullets?
Exactly.
Like, that's the worst thing about this shit, man. It's at the late 80s, early 90s. We had all this like cool cyberpunk. Like, what if the future's like this? And it's the lamest fucking bullshit imaginable.
We got like the globalist corporate takeover.
Yeah.
We got like all of like the slums in LA that you see in the movie Blade Runner. We got that.
Everything's owned by Disney.
Everything's owned by Disney. It's like we got all that part. It's like where's the cool fucking sunglasses that shoot lasers?
A lot of those cyberpunk movies, they're like a reflection of worrying that Japan will take over. And it's like, maybe they should have, right? Like, maybe we could have had all these cool things.
Right,
if we
yeah.
let that happen.
Like, what the hell happened to that, too? Like, I think, yeah, like, even, like, I think I heard someone mention recently, like, even Japan is not even, like, pictured in that same kind of way as it was back then.
It's not as large of, like, a global economic superpower.
No, it's not. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Like, somewhere... Fuck, I think we ruined it, man. I think we just got a hold of anime and we're like, yeah, we're going to drag this down with the rest of our shitty culture.
Like, because it's funny because Kevin, you talk about like when you went to Japan, how big anime was, and you're just like, everyone reads it here, everyone loves it here. It's just a big part of the culture.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, we ruined it. White people made it lame. We made it so fucking lame.
This shit should not have left the island. You know, we see it. Yeah, and as much as I love anime, you know,
they should close their borders again. They should be isolationist again.
Hey,
see what else they can
Where is
come
this
up with.
conversation going?
Yeah, this is another bad trope.
Yeah. This show is like so close to accidentally being offensive so many times, and it's like
because
you know your boys are good boys.
Here's the thing: is we're not bad people. Allegedly,
we're a product of
our times.
Because I always wonder,
Globocam or whatever.
I always look at like people online that have these moments where they get canceled, right? Like a Karen in a grocery store that happens to be there on the wrong day, and someone's pointing a camera at her, and she just says the one word that she's not supposed to say. There's only one. She could not erase the one word from her vocabulary, and she says it, and you're just like, what if that were me? And I always think, that's not going to be me. I don't say that word. That's never going to be me because I'm not a piece of shit, you know? I'm not going to get canceled for some dumb shit like that.
We'll see. The episode's not over yet. We'll see.
You're right.
Speaking of, what's the next? We got time for one more story.
Yeah. Do you want to do one of these, or should we get to the TikTok is giving people Tourette's?
Let's do that. At first I was like agreeing to it, and halfway through the sentence I'm like, maybe not, but you know what? Sure. I don't know anything about this. It sounds like, again, we have plenty of room to be offensive on accident for the rest of the episode. So let's see what's going on here.
Let's be ableist now.
What's going on with TikTok?
I wasn't really planning on playing a video. I don't know if this video is worth playing or if it's good. I didn't really vet it.
So they got Tourette's. What do they get? The vaccine?
Oh my god.
That'll be good.
Good intentions,
Thought
folks.
Cops goes anti-vax.
Yeah.
TikTok is giving teen girls Tourette-like tics. Doctors call it a pandemic. So people are watching videos.
No, we got two pandemics?
There's going to be a third one. Once this metaverse comes around and computer viruses become real viruses, it's over.
Yeah, shoot.
That's actually a big part of the movie Snow Crash, or the book Snow Crash. It should be a movie. Is that
probably not at this point.
It'd be a good movie. It's a good book. It's very heavily drenched in satire. The hero's name, mind you, is Hero Protagonist.
It's kind of like Tenet. Wasn't that the...
That was.
Yeah, I think
Except
you made that
Tenet,
joke, actually.
Tenet was serious.
Yeah.
Snow Crash was supposed to be a satire of the cyberpunk genre. But anyway.
So people are getting sick from their phones. Let's hear about this.
That happens in the book is that they create a computer virus. It's like a mind virus. So it's like if you're in the metaverse and you get a virus, it affects your brain.
That would stink.
That's the Snow Crash. So anyway,
I was waiting for that to kind of tie into the...
No, there was no tie-in. I just really like that book.
Okay.
Months of study leads doctors to believe TikTok trends and pandemic boredom to be the source. I think what's happening is that...
Oh my God.
Hashtags Tourette's and Tourette's syndrome has amassed 6.2 billion views on the platform. And again, like...
They are bored.
That's
what the problem is.
If you've used this app, you know that you just flip through shit. Like it's like Tinder, but for like videos. So you can click on a hashtag and hashtag Tourette's and just flick through and flick through and flick through and flick through and watch people have different tics and stuff like that. And I guess that people are fucking like developing it as a result of watching too many people that have it.
This is so bad for us, man. This is so bad.
Like, we need another reason to know that social media is just like destroying
every week
humanity.
I do this show, I realize more and more I just gotta fucking unplug and detach. But hey, I gotta provide content though, so Let's see what kind of tick I'll pick up from the show. I probably already have some kind of like mental disorder I didn't have before Thought Cops. A doctor will listen to the entire backlog and determine what went wrong.
Yeah, too many people listening to Thought Cops have developed horrendous depression.
Yeah.
It's a pandemic. That'd be cool.
They're calling it Mooney syndrome.
Enough people listen to this show.
Yeah, and you want to give you, although that'd be cool if people got a disease from the thing we make to bring people joy.
That's the change you wanted to make in the world.
Yeah, it's like Gandhi said.
That's your answer, Grant. Yeah, earlier, you're like, where do I fit in? I'm like, well, there you go. You give everybody a fucking disease.
Everybody depression. Yeah. Whatever.
So, Grant, you're active on TikTok. I haven't seen you develop any ticks or talks.
Clever.
That's about as far as that'll go.
Yeah.
So what's the punishment? Everybody gets the snow crash.
Mm-hmm.
They all get the computer virus turned.
Now, Grant, remind me what is snow crash again?
It's a virus.
Like, no, what is it? Like, it's a book?
It's a book.
Okay.
It was written in 1992.
But it should be a movie.
Neil Stephenson's prophetic vision of what the future might entail. And let me tell you, it makes a lot of good points.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah. It's good. We should review it for Fire Bros.
Of course, I'll never pick a fucking book up.
It's good, man. Reading makes you smart.
It's the polar opposite of whatever we do here.
Speaking of smart, why don't we get to Key to the City?
Yeah, something good, something swell, something nice for a change. Thought Cops Key to the City. My Key to the City this week goes to a YouTube channel I actually just discovered last night called Cybershell.
Huh.
And it is so great.
What is it?
The guy, he covers a lot of like really esoteric specific. It's mostly focused around video game stuff, mostly focused around Sonic the Hedgehog stuff, actually. But the guy is like really fucking funny. Like, he has this whole like 30-minute video about this one single sprite from Sonic 2 that only is there for a split second if you're on the edge of a ledge. Like, in the characters, like in these games,
yeah,
he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He's like, trying to balance. And I guess like,
I like the one where you're just sitting still and like he's tapping his toe and he looks at you, the player.
Dude,
angrily.
That was like the fucking sickest shit when you were a kid, when you're like, check this out.
Oh my God.
And you set
Sonic's
your controller
real.
down and you're like, look at Mario fell asleep. He's fucking like, because we're not touching the controller. And that was like so immersive at the time.
Right.
But no, he does like these videos about this like super specific stuff like that, for example, but makes it super interesting. Like, even before I was on the train over here today, I was watching this video he did about these two guys who were in this like message board forum battle where they were like dedicating themselves to like grinding their character in Final Fantasy VII to level 99 without leaving the first area. So like, obviously it's like you're not meant to get up to that really in any point of the game. And like, obviously the characters, like, like the enemies like give you such little experience points. And these guys were having this like back and forth. It was kind of like that movie King of Kong, if you remember that, like the two guys battling for like the high score in Donkey Kong, but like a way more pathetic like goal. But he makes it and spins it into this like really interesting narrative. So yeah, check out Cybershell. Obviously, I'm still working through the backlog myself, but very good stuff.
I've seen the 99 Final Fantasy one. One of the characters, his name goes by Dick Tree, I think.
Dick Tree and what? Like,
I don't remember the other one.
Circle Lord or something like that.
Something along those lines.
And it's these two guys, and just like the fucking like, I love like the other people on the forum like gassing them up and stuff. It's just like, it's so indicative of like that specific like time period and that culture and stuff like that. And like, yeah, well, where's the screenshot, man? And like, he posts a screenshot, and it's always like photos from like a digital camera, like off their like CRT TV.
It's so something awful. Like,
exactly,
it's 100% everything
you
think about something awful encapsulated into that video. I love it.
So yeah, check out Cybershell. John, what is your? I'm sorry, Jonathan. What is your
unbelievable
Key to the City?
Even spelled
it. So
not as bad as when I kept calling Adam Gilbert album.
That was bad.
That's super bad,
super disrespectful.
Because I tripped over it. That's how I
Not even a
introduced him.
name. Not even a name.
Dude, I'm bad at talking for someone who does a weekly podcast for 4.5 years.
It's good practice, though, you know.
I've gotten better, which is pathetic to think how bad I was at speaking.
Well, when you listen
English
back
language.
to hundreds of hours of yourself talking, you can figure out these kinds of things and also become incredibly self-conscious of different verbal tics you have.
Yeah, it's getting worse.
Yeah.
It's
In
so
a way,
weird.
in a way, it is true. Like I listen back, I'm like, God, I do that too much. I do this too much. I'll cut back on that. Then I find myself like doing it more sometimes because I'm
Yeah.
aware of it.
like
Speaking of
the TikTok.
right, it's exactly.
You're creating a feedback loop.
Exactly. And one of those things is talking over people when they were about to say something.
Speaking of talking over people when they're about to say something.
Jonathan,
So,
you were saying.
my key to
Go
the
ahead.
city. I
Yes.
I watched the 2016 version of War and Peace. Now, this is like War and Peace is like a mammoth, over 1,000-page book. A lot of people
Right.
don't want to read that shit.
Yeah.
It's such a good fucking story. Like, I highly recommend everyone to watch it.
Who's in it?
So one of the lead characters is, have you ever seen the movie There Will Be Blood? It was a big movie a
Yeah.
while back. So there's Daniel Day-Lewis, and then there's this other guy that's the preacher that's like, they have this power
what's
struggle.
his,
Paul Dano?
Dano.
Yes, Paul
Yeah.
Dano. He's like the lead of this. And he plays this like...
He's
this-
going to be the Riddler in the new Batman.
That's right.
Oh, dude, he's such a good actor. He
He's-
absolutely
he's like one of my
kills in War and
favorites.
He
Peace.
looks like he tells hella riddle.
He goes on screen and you can immediately tell he's like projecting to be this dork. Like you feel it. He goes to this party, this ritzy ass Russian party, and you're like, oh man, this guy's a total nerd.
Right.
Goes in and like he's like, I think poor people deserve fair treatment. And he loses the crowd. Everyone fucking hates him. And I was like, oh man, perfect description of rich people. It encapsulated in this one scene.
Sure.
So the key to the city.
Tolstoy was an early anarchist.
Yeah, dude, he was hardcore, dude.
Yeah, because this is like hate to call it a meme, but it's like War and Peace is like the book people bring up when they're like, oh, it's a big, dry, long book. So they made a movie. I didn't even know about this. They made a movie out of it.
It's a miniseries. It's 6
Oh, okay,
episodes,
sure,
so it's
sure.
not very long.
and it's good.
It's so good. I highly
Wow.
recommend.
That's.
watch
I
it.
feel like that's a high bar to pass. Like those, like it's like when they made the Great Gatsby movie. It's like there's so many people like maybe we just don't attempt it because it's like, do we want to even try and fail? But I
feel like there's a weird hump that people have to get over when it comes to like Russian literature for some reason. Like, all I can think
those
of,
two words are so intimidating though. Russian literature.
They're very
I'm like, oh, man.
intimidating, and all I can think of is like Norm Macdonald's jokes where he just makes up a bunch of names. And I
Dr.
feel like
Lenovich.
people-
Go
right,
in his
exactly.
office.
And it's like, I don't know, it's not really that difficult. Maybe it's just like dry a little bit, but I don't know.
I think it's when there's like 20 characters. That's more the issue. Is that there's like a ton of characters.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like
That's
people,
that's
people
it.
I need
can
It's
keep
not
up
hard.
with
Yeah.
people can keep up with Game of Thrones and have
Right,
no problem.
exactly.
But yeah, again, maybe it's the page count. Maybe it's just the meme of it all, the intimidation. Like, oh, War and Peace. That's on. Yeah, I'll get to that one day
Yeah, dude, it's 6
after
episodes.
Snow Crash.
Right.
Breakneck pace. But I want to say, I'm specifically giving a key to the city to the person on YouTube who uploaded it illegally. Because there's like the pay version when you search it right next to the
Right,
6-episode playlist for free.
I was going to ask where our listeners can find this.
Just on YouTube. Get it while it's hot and not
Yeah.
totally taken down
And
immediately.
don't fucking tell.
Yeah, highly recommend. Everyone should fucking watch it. Great series.
Interesting. I'll have to check it out. Right now. Stop the episode. Actually, no, Grant, your key to the city. You have to give one.
Only once in a great while does a writer come along who defies comparison. A writer so original, he redefines the way we look at the world. Neil Stephenson is such a writer, and Snow Crash is such a novel. Weaving virtual reality, Sumerian myth, and just about everything in between with a cool cyber sensibility to bring us the giga thriller of the information age.
Well, this sounds interesting.
In reality, hero protagonist delivers pizza for Uncle Enzo's Coso Nostra Pizza Inc. But in the metaverse, he's a warrior prince, plunging headlong into the enigma of a new computer virus that is striking down hackers everywhere. He races along the neon-lit streets on a search and destroy mission for the shadowy virtual villain threatening to bring about the infopocalypse.
Wow. That reminds me of Ready Player One. Should check that out.
I'm sure Ready Player One was probably heavily based on Snow Crash.
I was going to say, too, and actually, like, that, I bet the pilot episode of Futurama as well. Because doesn't he work for, like, a pizza delivery place called Enzo's?
Yeah.
I think he does.
Yeah,
That's
then he
wild.
goes to...
Huh.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I feel like you see references of everywhere, but
and that's
that
the
people
kind of
sort
thing
forget
that
the source material.
Sure. Yeah.
It's a very funny book, though.
Plunge into a fantasy world, unlike the one we live in now, where the future could have been cool and interesting and not Sokotoa.
Oh my god.
Speaking of Sokotoa, what's the word of the week? Is the word of the week Sokotoa?
Sure. I got the... yeah, Sokotoa. What do you say?
You don't want to do this one?
We'll get to it. When we don't have anything else, we'll get to it. But yeah, Sokotoa. Right. So what is sine, cosine, tangent?
Yeah, so it's sine opposite over hypotenuse.
Hold that a little closer.
Oh, sorry. Sine opposite over hypotenuse, cosine adjacent over hypotenuse, and then tangent opposite over adjacent.
I've already forgotten.
Yeah, same.
I need a racist
like that. I watched that go through like one ear, not the other. I was like, and there it goes, just glazing over.
Speaking of glaze,
excuse me.
Before we get to our final segment, which is the voicemails, Jonathan, what are your plugs? Where can we find you?
Okay, so I have a Twitter account at John Shan Official. I showed myself to John. I forgot about that. I am John on the internet, I guess. Yeah. And then I barely post on it, but you can watch me watch things, I guess. Follow my likes. But I also...
Hey, that's what we're all doing here.
I have an Instagram at booty_litigious.
What made you not want to use your name for that one? Because I was like trying to tag you, and I'm like, so is John Shan Official on Twitter, then Booty Litigious on Instagram?
I don't know why. I just thought that was a very funny combination of words.
It is. It's a great mnemonic device too.
It is. Yeah, you can remember Booty Litigious. You better remember
without having to be problematic either.
But the next month I will be doing this thing called November, which is I do 3D modeling as well as stand-up.
Cool.
So November is designing models with basically math.
I remember you doing that last year, right?
So it's coming up again this year. So it's a very ridiculously in-depth process, but it's super fun and it's super neat to see what you can come up with using just math.
That's interesting. I know we got some listeners out there who are big math heads.
And a bunch of racist listeners, too. So
what the fuck? Man, we were so close to being done with the episode. What the fuck, man?
Because of the dance. I can't stop thinking about it.
Now they are. If they were watching the YouTube version, then they are, yes. Now they're racist. They weren't before.
Yeah.
Now they are. We're sorry.
Wouldn't that suck if that's how you became racist? Is you just watch someone else do a racist thing and you're like, oh, I'm ruined.
Sort of awoken something inside of me. Oh boy.
Speaking of awakening, our voicemail number is 312-788-7361, or you can send us an audio file at thoughtcopspodcast@gmail.com. Was that it? Did I do the plug right?
Yes, that was perfect. You could have put a little more like sauce on it, but
whatever.
You know.
Here's the voicemail.
Okay, so like I haven't watched Squid Game yet, but I was thinking like, wow, this is really cool that like a foreign show is like super popular like in like the mainstream. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. Then I find out that the reason why it's mainstream is a lot of these people are watching it fucking dubbed. Like, okay, maybe I'm like being like an elitist, but I think that 100%. You should watch stuff in the original language.
As always,
like you can. Okay, fine. at least live action things need to be watched in the original language. Like, learn to fucking read it. It isn't hard.
Okay, well,
fine. You want to watch your anime cartoons dubbed? I wouldn't, but that's fine, I guess. But like, the mouth flaps don't match in like a live action. It gets off-putting. Why are people that averse to just reading the subtitles? I always have subtitles, even if it's English. I don't understand.
Yeah, some people are like that. They always have like subtitles on, even if. And I hate to fucking do this, but have you noticed that it's like?
Here we go. This is what's going to get us canceled.
This is somehow racist, right?
What?
No, don't worry. It's just sexist.
Okay,
no,
cool.
It's mostly women, I feel like. I've noticed, like, watch, like, everything with subtitles. It's just, like, if you want to, like, I don't know, is it, like, a female trait or something? I've noticed, like, a lot of women.
I watch subtitles all the time. I was gonna keep it in. I was like, I shouldn't bring this up, but yeah, I'm one of those people. I always have subtitles on.
Again, like, at the beginning of the episode, I go out of my way to fucking avoid it if I can. Like, I was going on Reddit's forum, like forums from like 2007 to find out, just to avoid having to put subtitles on, so I could just listen to the audio at a normal level in my apartment.
You were scouring the web for r/redpilled to see what's the deal with these women and putting subtitles on everything.
It was a slippery slope, a deep rabbit hole, but yes, I am now
you're now going your own way.
Going my own way. But she brings up the Squid Game dub, which I watched all of Squid Game recently.
Sub or dub?
Subbed, of course, because sub is also it's the default option too. You have to like click over to the dub if you want to watch it. And she brings up a good point because, like, for whatever shit you want to talk on English dubbed anime, whatever. But at least they can, like, it looks natural for the most part. Like, they can match the mouth flaps pretty well. But like, I was talking to somebody who said they watched like the first episode of Squid Game in the English dub and had to switch over because they said it was like Kung Pao Enter the Fist. Like, they said it was tremendously bad.
I had heard though that there was some weird problem with the subtitles and the translation.
I mean, I wouldn't know. I don't speak Korean.
I think that's what people were saying though, and I don't know if that's the same for the sub as it is the dub, but I was reading something about it that I don't really care to have remembered, apparently.
You're probably right, though, because Netflix has fucked up a lot of stuff with, like, subtitled programming. Like, when they brought over...
Netflix has fucked up a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they're trying to cancel Dave Chappelle. No,
unbelievable.
When they had Evangelion exclusive to Netflix platforms now, like, people were, remember that, up in arms
they were
over
real mad about
like, they fucked up some, like, specific, like, subtitle translations. Like, there's I'm not gonna get into it, but anyway, they were mad about it, and it doesn't surprise me that they, like, what people, like, Netflix is one of the biggest media companies, like, in the world right now. How hard is it to get someone who speaks the fucking language properly to, like, translate it and subtitle it properly? Now I'm feeling like I got gypped. Like, I watched all of Squid Game and I got some, like, inferior version, you know?
They don't even pay their, like, staff well. That's like a big thing. Well, like, they can't even afford to do that.
That's global capitalism, and all we need to do is overthrow it. It's as simple as that.
Yep.
Speaking of overthrowing, let's overthrow to the next voicemail here.
Wow.
Incredible stuff. Once again, it is I, Leo the Incredible, gracing your voicemail.
Hey.
No thought crimes to report this week, gentlemen. No gripes to be had.
On the streets.
No complaints to be made. It's been a so-so week. It is really unusual.
So we're just going to talk about his week.
I'm not sure I like so-so weeks. Maybe that's my gripe. I don't like so-so weeks.
Boring.
They're boring.
Right?
So dreadfully boring. Well, let's not have this voicemail be that way. Gentlemen, it's short. Otherwise, I hope you have a great night and a great weekend. Take it easy, guys.
For an otherwise banal voicemail actually brings up an interesting point, because I do feel like we are bred to be addicted to drama and outrage and gossip now because of like the way that social media works.
Let's not get too into eugenics now.
And it's that kind of episode.
Yeah.
Apparently. No, but like the way he's like, oh, I don't like so. I don't like, I'm bored.
Yeah.
You know, I want drama. Leo's a drama loving gossip queen. No, it's, I mean, yeah, I mean that I know he's like sort of being facetious or being completely facetious, but
he's being a little glib.
Yeah. But a lot of people are actually that way, you know? They want it. They seek it out. And if they don't have it, ooh, they're going to throw a fit. And you better believe they'll make their own.
It's the Bill Maher's of the world.
Exactly. Yeah. And he does it on accident, though. He just falls right into it. He's like, oh, fuck. He's gotten so good at it. That is just his life. You know,
there's also part of that too, though, where I feel it, and it's like sometimes I do get the sense of like, man, if I get too happy, things are fucked up. I'm not doing enough. I'm not being enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have to be torturing myself constantly. You know,
probably not good, but
I gotta run a marathon that I'm not prepared for. I gotta do something. I gotta read War and Peace, or at the very least watch the YouTube rip of it. You know, like things like that. And I do think that there is a certain aspect of like, well, at least if things are bad, it sort of gives you like a purpose, like a meaning. It gives you like a way forward. And I feel like that with this show a lot too, where it's just like, yeah, we're talking about these inherently negative bullshit dramatic drama things that happen on the internet, but it's like, it's something. I need something. You got to have some negatives, otherwise the positives are just sort of boring. A good positive is, in spite of all the bad.
Grant, there's probably a healthier way to deal with that.
I'm not talking about dealing. I'm just saying.
And speaking of, Leo here in the chat says, I'm so drugged up this week, I think I missed all the drama.
There you go. That's a healthy way to do drugs, everyone.
I'm assuming he means painkillers. I know he was talking about, I think he hurt his back or something like that.
Just do any drug. A drug is a drug.
Get well soon, Leo. We're rooting for you. Take as many painkillers as you can while you can.
Don't get addicted.
Yeah.
To drown out all of the filth in this world. But yeah, don't get addicted.
Whatever you do, don't get addicted. But everything's a drug.
We're touching on a lot of crazy topics this episode. Sexism, racism, addiction.
Hey, this is all part of the product. You know?
We didn't do gambling. We could do that.
I sure hope the cat doesn't knock over the camera.
Well, before she does, Jonathan, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Meaning to ask you for a long, long time, and it's one of those things where I'm like, I just got to DM John.
Hell yeah.
Fuck Jonathan. And ask him and get his name right on the show.
Spell it right when you say it.
Yeah, that's the only thing I really ask.
Yeah, Jon. He made it so easy for us, folks. He got rid of the H. And if you want easy, you can give us a call of your own. Leave a voicemail, because that's free. 312-788-7361. Or you can send an audio file to thoughtcopspodcast@gmail.com. If you want to support the show, we would really appreciate it. So head on over to patreon.com/thoughtcops, because it makes the show feel a lot more like a legitimate alternative to the shitty reality we have now. Not that it's, I don't know, not that shitty, I guess. Probably could have just wrapped the episode up, but I didn't have to make it weird. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
See you, Space Cop.
Bye.